Like, I love that, bro. No electricity, no food, and one water pipe might have turned on. And according to on-the-ground reporting, it doesn't mean shit because there's no electricity to pump the water.
Is rescuing the hostages a priority at all? I mean, Israeli news media like Haaretz, they say it doesn't seem like it at all. And frankly, Jake, if my kids were being held hostage in Gaza.
By the way, Jake Tapper apparently is fucking hitting it hard here. I don't know why.
And as you know, there are Americans being held hostage in Gaza right now. I'd want you to send in the Navy SEALs. What's the conversation like in the White House about the U.S.
Wait.
Journalist.
Okay, we'll do this afterwards. I want to see that.
Conducting any sort of operations in order to save Americans being held hostage in Gaza.
Well, the president has been very clear that he has no higher priority than getting Americans back safe, Americans who are being held hostage by Hamas.
The Israelis are bombing the crap out of Gaza, Jake. I mean, it doesn't seem like saving the hostages are a priority at all right now.
God damn! Why is he saying that? That's crazy. I mean, he's right. Shockingly.
Well, for President Biden, they are a priority. They're the highest possible priority, and he has sent hostage experts to coordinate and consult with the Israeli government on hostage recovery efforts. He's also made sure that our diplomats are in touch with third countries in the region to explore avenues for their safe release. I have to be cautious about how much I can say about certain efforts he's undertaking because we want to protect those efforts to give us the best possible chance of getting our people home. Now, Jake, one important point when it comes to the issue of the Navy SEALs is we do not at this point have pinpoint location information for where the American hostages are. So
wait, what? I thought Israel had the best targeting capabilities. Wait, I'm sorry. Is the Israeli state not cooperating with America? I thought this is the most surveilled place on the planet. I thought that they knew exactly what targets they were bombing. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Someone's lying. Maybe Israel doesn't know exactly where the hostages are and are just simply bombing indiscriminately. Or they know exactly where the hostages are and they're still killing children and simultaneously refusing to tell where Americans the hostages are. Which is it? Because it's bad or really bad, you know?
So we have to continue to refine our understanding of where they are and even, Jake, who they are, because we know there are 15 unaccounted for Americans, but we cannot confirm the precise number of American hostages being held by Hamas at this time. All we can do is to continue to work closely with the Israeli government on hostage recovery options, which we are doing, and then work through third countries to see if there are avenues for release. Those efforts are underway. Our hope is that they can produce results. We will continue to stay focused on this. It's as high a priority as the president has.
One senior political operative with Hamas floated the possibility a few days ago of a potential prisoner swap with the U.S. for the release of hostages. Would the U.S. entertain that?
We have not looked at that we have not heard from them something like that. That's not something that is currently under active discussion. It has not been proposed. What we are focused on instead, as I said before, are pursuing avenues with third countries for release. I'm not going to get
I like that he's like, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. Jake, thank you for informing me.
Into the details of what that might look like, again, to protect those channels in hopes that they can bear some fruit. But I will say that President Biden has shown over the course of the past few years that he will make hard decisions to get American.
He's like, damn, dog, I had no fucking idea that shit was like that. Was it really like that? Is shit really like that right now, Jake? Jake, what you are telling me right now is Wallah, it's the first time I'm hearing of it, my man. That's crazy. Like, that's an option? I don't know. I have no access to the internet, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, I've been really invested in watching World War II in color. Okay, you don't even know. Really good.
Hostages home. In this case, our focus is on working through those third country channels, and I'll leave it at that for now.
So I think there are serious reasons to question how good any intelligence about what is in Gaza is. I mean, obviously, Hamas was able to carry out this horrific attack 8 days ago, catching everybody completely off guard.
I like that Jake can bully Jake Sullivan. Well, you put this motherfucker in front of an Israeli official and he's like, sir, I'm with you. Tell me where the children are. I will fucking bomb them myself, okay? Give me the button. I'll hit the bomb baby button, okay? But right now, he's just ripping the asshole of Jake Sullivan. You know what I mean? Listen, are you an American? Are you an American national security advisor? I'll fuck you up all day. Awesome.
You just said that we don't know where the hostages are in Gaza. And yet the Israelis claim, the IDF claims, that it is bombing places that it knows are Hamas targets. How can we be sure that that's true? I mean, Hamas is a terrorist group, don't get me wrong, but how do we know anything about what they're hitting, given the fact that...
Dude, hell yeah, baby. A little bit of American supremacy. Come on. Finally, dude. What are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here, dude? No, seriously. Like, we're really... I mean, listen. I know Jake doesn't think Palestinians are human, okay? I know. He hates Muslims. That is 100% a certainty. I will go... I will always ride with that. But Americans? With our taxpayer dollars? Bitch, those are our bombs bombing our citizens? Are you fucking crazy? Are you kidding me? It's America, damn it. What do we need? Israel to have oil to take action? What's happening? Come on now.
It doesn't sound like any of the intelligence inside Gaza is particularly good.
Well, Jake, Israel has known where particular parts of Hamas's terrorist infrastructure have been located. They know, for example...
Bro, you are the American... Bro, you work for our State Department. Like, why are you doing... Why are you defending Israeli intelligence? I genuinely don't understand. It's like, what is happening? You don't work for the IDF.
Where rockets are fired from, and they can go back to those locations to take out the rocket emplacements. They know from various forms of intelligence collection where certain individuals are located who are senior commanders in Hamas, who are part of the bloody and barbaric attacks that took place against Israel last Saturday. So they do have information to be able to go after specific targets, actionable targets, similar to the way the United States has been able to do that in other places, in other contexts.
Oh, yeah, and Jake does love that, so he doesn't have a moral leg to stand on here. Why would our government stop backing Israel now? It won't. It's not going to happen, chatter. I was just simply having fun with it. It is a dark time. I was simply just having a little bit of fun with someone like Jake Tapper, who is not necessarily too fond of Muslims having to basically ask questions here because he finds himself in this conundrum where he loves Americans and he's like, what the fuck's happening here? Why are we trusting the Israeli government's intelligence?
Texts. The United States has taken a very clear stand. It is a stand that we don't just take in this situation, but we've taken all along, which is that we stand for the rule of law.
Yeah, he's like, the U.S. doesn't stand just for this situation. Anytime there's Muslims out there that are being ethnically wiped out or cleansed, we're on board, unless we can use it against our foreign adversaries, like in the case of China. Let's not forget, the most serious, the grossest acts against Muslims have only happened in Xinjiang. Let's eyes on the prize here, okay? Unless we can use it against our foreign adversaries, we are with you no matter what. We love wiping out Muslims.
We stand for the law of war. We stand for the protection of civilians. And we want to make sure that innocent Palestinians who have nothing to do with Hamas can get to safe areas where they will be safe from bombardment and where they will have access.
Who's bombing? Safe from whose bombardment? Who's throwing the bombs? The unstoppable force. I love treating, like, quite literally treatable things like mass shootings or medical debt or Israel's endless bombing campaign. Like, it's a totally naturally occurring phenomena. You know what I mean? Where it's like, we have to act like, or police shootings. Like, these are all treatable issues. These are all issues that you can treat with policy, right? But we have to behave like it's a force of nature. Like, there's just no way to reckon with that. It's just going to keep happening.
To necessities like food, water, shelter, and medicine.
Well, I mean, you say you stand for the rule of law. Again, Hamas is vile. What they did 8 days ago, they're targeting civilians. It's horrific. But what's going on right now is not just a punishment of Hamas. More than 700 children have been reportedly killed in Gaza. And obviously, electricity, food, water supplies have been cut off by Israel to the total.
I can't wait for the fucking, oh my God, I can't wait for the Israeli foreign government, Israeli foreign ministry to start calling, like, Jake Tapper and everyone else anti-Semitic. Oh, that's so fire. They will get unhinged. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Mark my fucking words. Bro, while Israel is doing an ethnic cleansing campaign in fucking Gaza, the Israeli social media account was tweeting about how Gigi Hadid has been too silent. Okay? They're such racist, rabid dogs that are so fucking arrogant. It's unimaginable, dude. Dude, save your citizens. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you trying to single out like a Palestinian celebrity that hasn't unconditionally offered support to Israel? Like, what's fucking wrong with you? They are so insanely arrogant, dude. I'm telling you. One day the dam will fucking break and people will be like, what are you doing? If you've been paying attention to it for as many years as I have, then you're already there. You're like, this is so insane. I can't believe they're doing this. But it is so psychotic that you're like, hey, you didn't get on board with our ethnic cleansing operation as vociferously as I would like, which implies that you were anti-Semitic, will inevitably be deployed towards the wrong guy. You know what I mean? Like, not like a Barack Obama, because he's black. But like, if they said this to Joe Biden right now, people go, you're fucking nuts. Biden offering unconditional support. Day in, day out. He strays away from that for like a brief moment. They go, oh, you're anti-Semitic. People will respond to that. They will think that that's crazy.
Totality of Gaza. Obviously, the blockade is not just by Israel, it's by Egypt too. Take a listen to what Secretary Blinken said last year when Putin was targeting Ukrainian infrastructure.
Heat, water, electricity for children, for the elderly, for the sick.
Yeah, how can Ukrainians not see that, by the way? I guess, I don't actually know what the Ukrainian perspective is overall, like on the ground, but the Ukrainian government immediately were like, yeah, that shit is like only a war crime when Russia does it to us. When Israel does it, it's pog.
These are President Putin's new targets. He's hitting them hard. This brutalization of Ukraine's people is barbaric.
Now look, Israel is not Russia. Gaza is not Ukraine.
Yeah, it's like, wait, it's, what do you mean? What's that qualification? It's worse. It's worse. If Russia's occupation gets to that point, which it never will get to, because the Western world will never allow it, luckily, okay, it would be. It could. It's not there yet. But you can definitely say it's very similar. Like the energy, you know what I mean? The energy of it It's very similar, like a much larger military power doing an unjustifiable act and like invading a country that is its neighbor. You know what I mean? And not having any interest in the citizens' lives and and calling them all Nazis. True. Oh no. I forgot about that part. Yo, what the fuck? It is kind of funny that Putin's like, yeah, what we're doing in Ukraine is exactly like what Palestine is doing against Israel, but it is identical to what Israel is doing to Palestine. I forgot about that part too. That's true. They even did the oh yeah, we're denazifying. Oh, that's so, oh my God. That's so insane. It's like it is identical when it's brought down to, it's identical in reductive terms when it's brought down to the basics of the argument. But it's certainly not an argument you can make where you're like, yeah, and the situation in I think Ukraine is worse overall because there hasn't been 75 years of occupation and constant, luckily, a constant death and destruction. Like at least Ukraine has had a moment to breathe and be able to genuinely create a nation state for itself.
It's a different situation. But cutting off supplies, cutting off heat, cutting off water to civilians, what's the difference?
Well, first, thank you for saying that Israel is not Russia, because Israel is not Russia. Second,
and the material living conditions are miles apart. I mean, honestly, dude, pre-Russian invasion Ukraine, material conditions weren't great either. Ukraine is a very poor country. Was a very, very poor country. Not as bad as like Gaza, of course, but I think people forget that. I think people don't understand.
Civilians are civilians,
before,
Jake.
We are in
civilians are civilians.
Contact. Yes, absolutely they are, and they deserve, as I said before, access to water and medicine and food. And we are working actively to ensure that that happens. And I can tell you this morning, Jake, that I have been in touch with my Israeli counterparts just within the last hour who report to me that they have, in fact, turned the water pipe back on in southern Gaza. That has been the subject of discussion over the course of the past few days. The United States is going to continue working with Israel, with the UN,
the goats,
with Egypt, with Jordan, and with a lot of the groups on the ground to make...
Damn, bro, the goats, dude. We are consistently the goats at human rights abuses, actually. Like, I love that, bro. No electricity, no food, and one water pipe might have turned on. And according to on-the-ground reporting, it doesn't mean shit because there's no electricity to pump the water. And the pipes are bombed. It's fucking nuts. What are they supposed to do? And they did it not across the board, but in specific parts of the occupied territory with the express purpose of moving people around so they can, you know, ultimately expel them from the fucking country, from their homes permanently. Ethnic displacement. Wow, you guys did it. Thank you for aiding. Like, I've seen throughout history many, many times this kind of thing happen. Like, I've read it in books, right? First and foremost, the most obvious one is Lebensraum. That's what comes to mind immediately. A living room, a living space for Germans, right? In Eastern Europe. I think it is really wild to see it in action. It's really wild to see it happen in front of our eyes. And but I totally get how people do it. Like, I totally get how people have justified it. If you ever wanted to know a circumstance where there is like, it's not complicated at all. There's a clear black and white issue here. Okay. What are we ignoring the terrorist attack on a music festival and aerial pursuit? Complete wrongdoing. Yeah, you will not find people, at least in this community, that will go, that shit was awesome. But if you walk around the world right now, if you talk to any leader with any fucking power whatsoever, the reaction from the Israeli state that has been infinitely more ruthless now, at least from the human casualty perspective, before we even factor into the ongoing occupation and the maintenance of an apartheid regime, that's being celebrated. That's not getting the same condemnation. That's being considered, Israel having a right to defend itself. Don Jr. live on Rumble. California should be its own place. You're all numbskulls. Democrats love kids' sexual organs. Good stuff.
Make sure that innocent Palestinians get access to those basic necessities and are protected from bombardment, because they deserve that right, the right to those necessities and the right to safety and security every bit as much as Ukrainian civilians do or civilians anywhere do. And the United States hasn't made any bones about that. We're working hard on that. We're working to make sure that that is the case as this unfolds. And it's something that has been a high priority for President Biden, for Secretary Blinken, and for myself.
But you're not telling the Israelis to let the Palestinian hospitals have power.
Oh my God.
Our position is that hospitals should be able to function. Hospitals should not be targeted. People should be able to get access to life-saving medical care. We don't qualify.
Bro, I've never seen Jake tap that ass like this. He's tapping ass right now. Jake the ass tapper is back. What's going on, dude? This is weird. It's weird to see. Maybe I feel like maybe my perspective is like so clouded and so muddied by just soulless ghouls that I see all day, every day, offer unconditional support to the baby murder campaign from the world's greatest baby murdering machine. And so, like, when someone asks, like, normal questions, I go, wow, that's insane. He got a Palestinian shouty? No, he didn't. He's very racist, I think, against Muslims.
These statements, we don't say that there's some kind of caveat to them. These are simple, clear, declarative statements. It is our position that's consistent with the law of armed conflict, the law of war. It's consistent with our view as we have presented it. And I would just say, Jake, that there's a lot of reports in the fog of war about
Muslim is a race? What? What are you saying? Israel belongs to Palestine? Muslims are a race? Bro, these are dudes hitting both sides of the arguments. Muslim is not a race, is a religion. But hatred against Muslims is, of course, racialized. Okay? That's why, until you find out my name is Hasan, or know that I'm Turkish, you have no fucking clue what my background is. You think I'm white. The first victims of a Islamophobic hate crime after 9/11 was not a Muslim person, but a Sikh person. Sikh. So how did that happen? How did that happen? Why did a Sikh person get hate crimed? Because Muslim is a racialized Muslim. When people say someone is Muslim, or when people want to be Islamophobic, they are racializing their hatred.
things that happen. We're not going to respond to every one of those because we will seek clarity in the appropriate way, but we will never back off our basic principles and our basic proposition, which we have made both publicly and privately, about our view about how civilians have to be protected.
I haven't asked you any of the fog of war stories. I've seen stories that blame Israel for things that later on it turns out Hamas did them. I get it. I understand. But we have reports.
Wait, what? No, it's the other way around. Wait, first of all, who has ever blamed Israel for things it openly says it's doing even? The fuck do you mean? I've seen people blame Israel for things Hamas is doing. It's so insane. When, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but the only thing I've seen is the opposite, because there's so much more cruelty that you can point to that Israel has subjected the Palestinian people to. So you accidentally end up showing like Gaza being reduced to rubble and go praying for Israel, like Justin Bieber did, or Jamie Lee Curtis did, or Charlie Kirk did, or numerous other people did. And it's not even their fault because, you know, there's just pound for pound. There's a lot more cruelty being dished out from the Israeli side against the Palestinians than vice versa. Now, there's also a secondary reason why this take is stupid, because I've never seen someone immediately go, in mainstream media, immediately go, all right, guys, it's time to fucking say, you know, Israel is doing something wrong. If anything, I've only seen the opposite of that.
And I'm sure you have them too, that hundreds of the individuals stuck in Gaza are American citizens. You know that too. There are also hundreds of thousands of Americans in Israel that are trying to get out also. And the Biden administration is doing a lot to get those individuals out. 29 of the individuals killed by Hamas were American. And there are, I think, what is it, like something like 40 Americans that are unaccounted for who were maybe taken prisoner by Hamas. But I want to talk to
There's also 600 Americans, like, both working in humanitarian aid and also, what's the Dahia Doctrine? It's the doctrine that America has applied in every single bombing campaign it has done since World War II against civilian populations, where they describe the civilian population as enemy combatants across the board with no interest in lowering the number of civilian casualties. They've done this in Iraq. They've done this in Afghanistan. They did this in the Korean War, first and foremost. That's when they really started kicking that up to high gear. The ultimate purpose of this doctrine is to humiliate and terrify the opposing nation. They do it deliberately. Now, of course, the Dahia Doctrine is first utilized by the American government, but now the reason why you're calling it the Dahia Doctrine is because you watched that GDF video that I did as well. That is the Israeli version of the American doctrine that has been in place for a very long time. It is the same exact principle. The reason why I described it by talking about America doing it first is because Israel is a continuation of America's, blood and soil propaganda and ethnic cleansing operation in the Middle East. So, Dahia means suburbs. Is what the IDF targeted during 2004. No, it's originally Israel reducing an entire suburb in Lebanon into rubble. Okay, that's where they officially decided for this to be the new modus operandi. No, the suburb was called Dahia. Yeah. I feel like this has been done before then either as well. But yeah, ultimately the goal is to declare the entire nation an enemy combatant and kill civilian populations. It's basically just saying you're going to kill civilian populations, but then you try to put a spin on it. America called it shock and awe in Iraq. It's bullshit. It's the same shit.
To you about one Palestinian-American woman we talked to named Haneen Okal. She's from New Jersey. She's got 3 kids, 8, 2, and 2 months. I sent you the interview we did with her earlier in the week. She got to the border, the Rafah crossing. She can't get out. She can't get out of Gaza because the Egyptians won't open the crossing. Listen to what she told me earlier this week.
We tried to contact the U.S. Embassy so many times. Unfortunately, they couldn't help us at all. I contacted them through the phone, via email. I texted and I called different numbers, but nobody, I couldn't hear back from any. We are all here feeling abandoned and we're feeling that we're left alone.
I don't know how many billions of dollars we give the Egyptians every year. Why can't you tell President Sisi to open the border to let Americans out?
We have told President Sisi to open the border to let Americans out. The situation
is that Israel won't let them. Oh, go ahead, dude. Say it. What is this? Lab source on the few quitting party over the stance on Hamas, shaking off the fleas. Oh, labor source. An elected young labor rep quit over Starmer's pro-war crime stance over the weekend and found out yesterday via Twitter that her family members had been killed in Gaza. Today, this is what people around Starmer are briefing. The sheer evil of it is so difficult to comprehend because they do not see you as a human. They do not see you as a human being. Labor source on the few quitting party over the stance on Hamas, shaking off the fleas. That's what they're saying. Shaking off the fleas. I fucking hate Keir Starmer, former human rights lawyer. Exactly. Well, bro, there was the other human... First of all, it doesn't take much to be a human rights lawyer. You can just say you're a human rights lawyer and not actually be for human rights. Like that other fucking guy, what is his name? Arnev Novitsky or something? The guy that we saw, Artem Novitsky, the guy who is a human rights lawyer who fucking posted... Ostrovsky. Arsen Ostrovsky, I think. Anyway, he posted the fucking he posted the photo of the Palestinian Hamas guy as like a cockroach and IDF being the boot. That's a human rights lawyer, dog. So then we found out what kind of human rights is he doing? Oh, it's just defending defending Israel's war crimes at the global scale. That's his human rights lawyer.
The issue there at the crossing is actually more complicated. The Egyptians have, in fact, agreed to allow Americans to depart to get safe passage through the Rafah crossing. The Israelis agreed to ensure that the area around there would be safe, at least as far as they were able to do so. The question when we tried to move a group yesterday was actually Hamas taking steps to try and stop that from happening. But we are continuing to work this around the clock, and we are doing all that we can to make sure that American citizens who are in Gaza can get through that border crossing. Secretary Blinken, in fact, is...
Yeah. It's just like, so what's holding it up? Because people are dying every moment that you take your sweet-ass fucking time with this shit. Wait, someone said Anthony Blinken is live. Is that for real? Are you for real right now? Is Anthony Blinken actually fucking live? Oh, he is.
Don't. To that end, he's deployed 2 aircraft carrier groups and other military assets to the region.
That's crazy.
Third, the President will continue to coordinate closely with our Israeli partners